Yeah, so any questions about what the actors have learned about themselves, or anything you want to share? So anybody want to come on up and ask a question?
Anybody?
We're getting our chairs ready. Or share what you really, we're touched by. Tina, great.
So something I wanted to name, although it's sort of the opposite of this triggering thing, but I think a very lovely moment in the show is in the passing of Gloucester, and then Nate, you hoisted him onto you, and that was such a lovely moment, and especially given that I know that you're hurting, and that was just, like, you were so in that moment, and it was so clearly, and I just wanted to name that and really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tina. And I wonder, Nate or Carlos, the actors in that moment, or anybody in the cast, I'm curious if that moment reminded you of anything in your own life, or how that moment affected you personally, that kind of healing moment between father and son, and also a moment of great loss. Nate, you want to comment?
There you go. Where's Carlos? Right there. Fresh face. Check out Clean Beat.
Bring thy ass.
Hey, hi Carlos. He said, what was the question? Tina mentioned it. 20 years younger.
Well, Tina was commenting on that touching moment of when Nate, as your son, carries you off upon your death as Gloucester, and I was just curious, what are any takeaways from you as an actor of that moment, or what did it remind you of in your own life?
I would say that being a father and being in prison sucks. They did nothing for me not to be there, and I feel that every day. And how we treat our children is how they will treat us. So you see Edmund, who I treated really bad, and he wanted my attention so much, and he wanted recognition so much, that he went out of his way to get rid of me. And this son who I gave no love to, because we see at the end when I say, man, but lately, very late, I have loved him. It was just too late for me, I felt, to show him that. And it really made me think. I call my son, I say, I love you, Gabriel. You're a great young man. And it's not your fault for me being in here. And I care about you, and I hear you, and I see you. And my daughter's in the Navy, so I send everything to her. But that's what I took away, is we have little moments to actually share with those whom we love, and especially the ones that we sire. And I'm like, take time just to see them, because the recognition they need is from the people that brought them into this world. And if I don't give them that, then they'll spend the whole life trying to find it.
I guess from, I'm not a parent, but from being a son, last year around this time I had lost my mom during the parallel, or after the parallel play. And so being that I really didn't get a chance to see my mom as much being here, those moments when she, kind of recognized me as being a better person, right, really meant a lot for me. So in that scene, and then being that I was here with, my father that passed away, we didn't have a good, close relationship. So what I tried to do in those moments when I was by myself thinking in that scene is just kind of like, what would I say to my dad if that was really my dad? Or how would I react to my father? Understanding him more now that he's gone, in that moment. If he died in front of me, like, how would I respond? Let's try to see if I can translate that into this performance of this scene.
Other questions or comments? Great. Kate?
We like to hear from people outside. Oh, very nice. Oh, yeah, you from outside.
I just want to say how amazing you guys were. There was an intimacy that you told this. Oh, right. You told this story with an intimacy in the relationships that made me understand it better than I've ever understood it before, and I've seen this play at least 10 times. And it just touched my heart in a way it never has before. So thank you, and thank you for what you went through to bring this morning.
Over here, yes, and we have a microphone.
I have a loud voice. Okay, you're recording. Got it. I have a question actually for all of the cast. If the play surprised you at all, I don't know how much you've read in the past or know it. You may have, some of you may not have. And secondly, if there are any parts for the entire cast either you completely related with or you just thought didn't make sense and didn't work. I don't mean your production, I mean the actual play. So just any surprises and any particularly connections or not connections?
Great question.
Thank you for your presence. The biggest surprise for me playing King Lear with the disappointment that he had with his daughters is something I can relate to. I'm the only man in my family that's ever been arrested. Therefore, I've disappointed my parents to a point that I don't know how much pain I've caused them. So that's what surprised me, and that realization really hit me. And I tried my best to portray that from the stage because I'm appalled at myself with my actions. I need to be at home with my mom, and my daughter, and my son and my grandchildren. But yet, because of my decisions, I'm here, like Cordelia's decision. No, but that's what surprised me, how much I really felt it. And it was a long process, man. Real long. Thank you all. Thank you all.
Yeah, so what surprised me in the play was how I was able to see the play differently than how I saw it 20 years ago. So when you see the guy with the bastard son, he's like loving his bastard son, he's proud of what he has and stuff, Then you have a woman, Donald, my wife. She's ambitious too, right? And I wasn't surprised to see like the double standard, played upon her, like she's a bad person, and my character was saying some things that I didn't necessarily agree with. But it was good to see an ambitious woman in those days trying to take over the whole kingdom for herself, right? So that was a surprise the way I viewed that. That was my surprise.
Thank you, Eddie. Anybody else want to take that
I'll chime in. The relationship between the fool and Lear, I was able to look at it on a more personal level because it made me look at who do we surround ourselves with. We have people who may criticize and ostracize you from afar because they don't like what you do or what you're about, but they'll never tell you when they'll never tell you the truth. They'll never tell you when you doing wrong, or they'll never motivate you and lift you up. But then there's those few people who you have around you who are not afraid to tell you the truth, whose job is to tell you the truth, and they do you more of a service by telling you exactly what you're doing wrong or right, and motivating you in areas where you would never ordinarily thrive at. And so with Fool, he was the only one in Lear's whole entourage who could actually tell him, call him on his stuff. And that reminded me of, just a few handful of actual friends and the relationships that I've made in here. And so I was able to really appreciate this role. And I noticed how you have to actually have a friendship or a relationship with your scene partner. So, yeah.
Thank you, Maverick. Thank you for that question. I questions, but I do want to first just ask our cast here if you could share a little bit with our audience who might not know some of the obstacles that we face in rehearsing for and putting on a show like this, and also what how do we face those obstacles, and how do you feel like you as a person or we as a group have grown from navigating those challenging waves? So I wonder if anybody's willing, and then we'll take your question.
Talk about surprises, Gil. I mean, let them know what we just came on.
Let me see. So from my standpoint, and some other people, like you got some more people who went through like a heck of an experience just to be here. But every year, during every show, there's always something. It's a fog line, it's a lockdown, it's some kind of medical something, right? And so there's always some kind of complication. But I want to thank all these people behind me, because even with all that, these guys worked on their own, they worked by themselves, and honestly, like, they even, was on me about, man, once you come outside and do something, man, and I'm kind of like lazy. Like, I ain't gonna lie, I get lazy, right? But like the complications, like we all know they're coming. We just don't know how severe or how long they'll take. And just by the grace of God, they was able to get a ducat and come out. That never happened. So we want to thank the powers that be for letting these guys come out. And honestly, we wouldn't have had no show if they would have been here. And to be real, I tried to get Leslie and Soraya to cancel the show because my foot hurt so bad, right? But, again, man, give these guys a round of applause who made it out of West.
Yeah, we were one of the West Block crews. Go ahead and stand up so we can see who was not at our last 3 rehearsals. And they just showed up, not even knowing what's going on. They showed up and gave it their all. And then the other cast members too showed up and gave it their all without having rehearsed with their fellow crew here.
Yeah.
So hands to you guys. Great. Oh, another comment on that, and then we have a few more questions.
Couple questions.
I want to say thank you, Soraya. Thank you, Leslie. Thank you, Candace. Thank you, Hannah. Thank you, Jean. Thank you, Marianne. Without all of you, we wouldn't be up here. That's another thing.
And thank you, Steve Emery, who came over to West Block on quarantine and pulled us out. And Sam Johnson.
Oh, we got Richie has a comment. Yes, Richie.
And before Richie go, to let y'all know, we are not sick. Yes. It was fake.
That's still up for debate. The play was sick. My name is Richie. We're men that are constantly subject to change. We're constantly subject to change. Just like the free people that are here today are subject to change on the outside. We're just in a more cloistered environment. I want to let you guys know I'm proud of you, and as a Shakespearean, you brought it today. Thank you for that. It's my birthday. I consider this a birthday gift.
Happy
This is a gift that I will not forget. This is the first time I've ever seen Lear, and I'll never see it again the way that I saw it today.
Thank you.
Guys are awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, Richie. Happy birthday. Okay, we have a couple going down. We can pass the mic, but yes. And would you share your name with us?
My name is Josh.
Josh.
I'm a budding actor, but the thing that most impressed me, I guess, today on the show, was every time Edmund shows up, it's like I get this feeling, what's he gonna do next? Why doesn't he stop? But it reminds me of my life. The things I haven't done, or the things that I've done that have been against helping other people. And so the play's quite strong in that, so thank you. But I also had a question for Ed, the actor who played Edmund. How was that for you?
His name is Edmund.
His name is Edmund. Yeah. Did you have anything you can share about your process with that character?
Edmund was so easy to play because everything about the character kind of embodied my personality. So just coming out here and being able to show you what I can do was kind of a blessing to me. So thank you, Soraya, for giving me the role Edmund. I don't think anybody could have did it like I did. Wow.
Questions over here?
I let him have that.
Yes, and what is your name?
Hi, I'm Lisa, and thank you all for your performance. The thing that struck me about watching King Lear today is the parallels with our current president. And I'm wondering how much you guys hear about the news, but he really enjoys hearing a lot of praise.
Yeah.
And so I just wondered if, I guess just the timelessness of Shakespeare, it's really striking, to watch it. And I don't know how much news you all get in here, but.
We watch it every day. We get a lot of news. We got
Great, any comments? Anybody want to take the mic?
Shaq? No, sir.
So Trump gets no everything.
Somebody that ain't spoke yet. Somebody that ain't spoke yet. Reese? Oh, somebody that ain't spoke yet. Somebody y'all boo? Somebody boo? Man, nobody wants to say nothing. No comments on 45.
Yeah, so I think there's a lot of universality, and there's quite a few narcissistic leaders in Shakespeare plays and in life. Well, I use the word narcissistic. I don't know if that's accurate for everyone, but there's definitely that opportunity to, life mirrors art and art mirrors life, vice versa. So we certainly see that here, how timely it is. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Patrick. I'm actually privileged to be able to work with a number of the men in the combined choir, the chapel choirs. And just a comment, and that is that what they tell me and what I see with what you are doing is that despite the situation you're in, that doing something like this helps transport you, helps you be outside of what you have to deal with every day. And it was obvious, and I just want to say thank you for that. Just like I say thank you to the guys that sing with us all the time. But my question is, one, how did you get involved in this? And two, how do you try out for the parts?
Do you want to be in the next play?
Thank you, Patrick. Anybody want to respond? Chris?
Yeah. I can tell you how I got involved. I got tricked. Carlos. I got tricked 4 years ago. Growing up as an athlete, I knew about Shakespeare. So what? 4 years ago, these two cretins said, "What, are you scared?" I said, "I'm not afraid of nothing." Now I'm hooked. I love, this is my 5th play. Hopefully I'll be able to do this for a long time. Leslie and Sarai, I've told you this before, you've given me something back in my life that I lost a long time ago. And I thank you for exposing me to the human condition in another way. I don't know how I'll be able to repay you two, but I'm gonna keep on pushing. Thank you both very much. You try out, just come and hang out.
So, for me, I think I got involved. I had my first ever show I ever did.
It wasn't Shakespeare, it was this play that I did called "Till You Know My Story." And Soraya happened to be one in it. She played a news reporter. And we did this show, and Leslie was in the audience. And after the show, she was like, "Hey, you need to come to Shakespeare." And I'm like, "That'd be a name." But there was some other guys, Luke, that was here, was like, "Hey, well, just come check it out." I went and checked it out, and like the atmosphere that was in there, atmosphere that was in there was like, I mean, it's kind of cool, even though I don't know what the heck they're talking about. And it's been like almost 10 years later, you know, I'm still a part of Shakespeare. So I think it's like pretty cool for somebody like me, and to be honest, I'm kind of like a thug, to be doing Shakespeare, because like I can bring people in who I relate to that don't know nothing about Shakespeare, right? So that's like cool. They always, man, why you do that? This and that. How we get the roles though, right? So these two ladies right here, they'll always say, oh, pick 2 characters you want. To be honest, you're probably never gonna get what you pick, but they have a great like casting system. You gotta kind of ask them how they cast the people, like what gave, you know, why did he get this role? But they always tell us pick 2, and you know, we lucky to get what we pick.
Ow.
Magic.
Pick
out of a hat. So, you know, every director has probably their different way of doing it. Now we have programs in 8 prisons, soon to be 11, so there's lots of us now working in different places. But generally here at San Quentin, we ask our group to write down their top 3 roles, and also any roles they definitely don't want to play. And also we ask them, do they want low, medium, or high line load, in terms of how many lines they might have to memorize. And then we go back and talk, the director is like, who do we feel like would be a good fit for this part, or what would be, you know, a good growing edge? Maybe they've never done a comic character, and it would be a stretch to do a, you know, a more comic character or a more serious character. So yeah, there's no formula really. It's somewhat intuitive, but it's kind of a mixture of actor preference. Yeah, magic. We'll just say that, magic.
Let me share how I got involved in Shakespeare. This would be interesting. I was invited to Shakespeare in like 2010. That's all. So I'm an OG at this, right? So my boy MC invited me to the program, and they were picking lines and everything, and I was like scared to give me a line. And then there was one left, and that person had to wear a dress. I was like, really? I was like, I should have got me a line. And so, you know, they supported me and helped me and convinced me that it's gonna be okay, we got you, you know what I mean? So it's a cool cast, we support each other. So it's like that. So I wore the dress, right? And so it was a revelation that happened for me when I wore that dress. You know, and it started letting me have compassion and empathy towards women, right? Because when I wore that dress, guys were dragging on my dress, and I felt uncomfortable about that. And I like try to tell myself I'm not, but yet I'm still finding myself protecting myself, right? So I like trying to figure out how could I sign up for Me Too?
Thank you, Belize. It's very courageous of you to step out of the box and do something that was uncomfortable for you. And that's something I hear again and again from our group, is that one thing theater lets us do is it offers us an invitation to step out of our comfort zone. And that's a really, really good thing. Can be a really good thing.
We have a question over here from someone. We have a question?
Hi everyone, my name is Janessa, and first of all I just want to say thank you so much for the incredibly inspiring, transformative work that you've done here today. I feel really honored to be here. And I have a question. I've been lucky enough to be starting a theater program at Pelican Bay. I'm very new, but I'm wondering if you have any practical and maybe spiritual elements or advice that you'd like to share in what makes your program successful in your process and execution of a show.
Got a lot of people who don't like to talk up here, but when y'all ain't around, they talk your ear off.
So it's I want to just applaud you for even doing that. You know, going to an environment like that it's a blessing for them to have you go there. And I know why you asked about the spiritual aspect, because in a place like Pelican Bay, I've learned that, so even in here, I've learned that, you know, when we may have disagreements or we may not see eye to eye with one another, I've learned that I don't have to like you to love you. And that was a motto that I had picked up. But in the same token, because I was going through my own spiritual battle during this process, and I learned that we don't war with flesh and blood, but with spirits and principalities. So on a yard like that, know that the spirit is down. It's just despair and hopelessness. And so if you remember who you're dealing with and you're able to create a bond between each other so that when things may arise, you know that it's not the person in front of you, but it's the spirit that's trying to break up what you're trying to do. But if you keep in mind that all things work together for the good of those who love God and called according to his purpose, and you hold on to that, that spiritual aspect, then it's going to rub off on those around you. And I know that you're going to be blessed in your endeavors.
Hallelujah.
I was there for like 7 years, and then I came like straight from there. I was there for like 7 years, and then came straight from there to here, right? And so like, and there's a couple other people that's in the room here, and I think that was there with me. Anyway, it's kind of like there was no hope. I mean, for me anyway, like I go to board 50 years, right? So like there's no hope, right? So being that like a program, something like this can be started up there, I guarantee you, right, it's gonna be a breath of fresh air because they don't have nothing up there in level 4s. So like, you know, I appreciate all the programs they have in like, you know, level 2s and 1s. But my personal belief is all the programs need to be up there. That way, by the time they get down here, a lot of them dudes is already like familiar with this kind of rehabilitative atmosphere. As far as like the spiritual aspect, yeah, I really don't, I mean, I guess it's more on a personal thing. I mean, like everybody have different spiritual beliefs represented up here. I think like whatever we draw on as an individual, we draw on that. But I think like outside of the spiritual aspect, I would say, it's the relationships that we create with each other. Because regardless of like, I could be a Muslim, a Buddhist, or whatever, but it's that relationship that we create with each other that allows us to respect each individual spirituality and also ourselves or each other, and that creates that kind of like bond and camaraderie, right, that's needed to put on a show with so many different attitudes, personalities, and then these directors and, you know, these people, they have to kind of try to manage each individual personality, which ain't always easy to do, right? So the more you create this kind of bond, that kind of bond with those men, or that you create the container to allow the men to create that bond within each other, then everything kind of like works out itself. You'll have some men who will be stewards of the program, and they'll take like a leadership like role and try to like just make sure everything goes according to plan. And you have guys that'll follow that, you know, that if those guys are respected. So I mean, everything kind of like works out itself. It's just like kind of like Maverick said, you have to be in a place to where people know they can draw upon your strength, your objectability, right, and your non-judgment to where you can get things going where they need to be going.
Big Jason, what we have to realize too that we fail to realize is that change is inevitable. However, growth is optional. A lot of them guys got to be willing to grow. And another thing is you have to reach them where they at, because we can't go in there assuming that they don't have hope just because of where they at. And I can't go into Pelican Bay only want to be understood but not be understanding of what they're going through or what they've been through. And I learned this from Susan, Dana, and her husband by going within myself, being able to go back in myself and see where I went wrong at without placing blame or being quick to make excuses. And once you go inside and you go back to the places in your life that you never ever wanted to touch, then you will see why you're not being able to do the things that you're great at. And there's a lot of great men on them level fours that we don't, show no inspiration or no motivation to. So just by you going there at a place like that and showing society as well as the staff inside that it is great people here and it is powerful people here, then it makes it good on you to inspire them to want to take heed and do the program, because this program is really therapeutic. I grew up in so-called South Central Los Angeles. The reason why I say so-called is because you can't even mail a letter to South Central without getting a return to sender. But, I grew up in a gang environment, was a part of the gang, and I dropped out of school in the 7th grade. So I never knew what Shakespeare was. I thought it was something that was weak. And then to see my boy Belize with a dress on in a prison, it motivated me. And just look at yourself and know that you are worthy to be in something greater if you just believe.
Thank you. So we have time for a few more questions.
I think we have somebody here with
I have a question. First of all, my name is Jane. I want to congratulate, kudos to Marin Shakespeare. To create and sustain programs in the Department of Corrections. So, just hats off. My question, and thank you, Belize, for raising the issue of the dress, because my question is, why did you choose to have the women played by women? In Shakespeare's day, the women were played by men. And and looking at the qualities that Goneril, Regan, and Cordelia manifest in the play, they're human. They're not specifically female. So that's my question.
Great, thank you, Jane. Anybody want to take that one?
I can't speak for nobody but myself. Like I said, I grew up in so-called South Central Los Angeles, but I was conditioned through verbal and physical abuse to believe that it wasn't cool to cry, tattletale, and back down from nothing. So in order for me to play a woman, I had to show my so-called feminine side. But I was willing to go to the extremes to prove that I wasn't nothing that implied femininity. So I'm a work in progress. I haven't made it to that point yet, but I don't knock people. That's why I said to see Belize do it, it gave my respect, especially being in a man's prison and step out of his comfort zone and did something like that. But for me personally, I have to really get in tune with myself and let them conditioners that's keeping me in bondage, set me free. And I feel that once I'm able to do that, like I said, the sky is the limit.
And like you said, for myself, I can only speak for myself as well. But no, matter of fact, I can't speak for some of my brothers up here because some of us have had consensus now. We know that Shakespeare's roles was played, female roles was played by men. But if we all just played all the roles ourselves, then we wouldn't be able to make more connections with these special women who come in. And that's why with the Wednesday group, we made a pact. We was like, we don't want to play no female roles, but it keeps getting forced on us for some reason. Because we really value the people who come in here. And if we take up all the roles, then
and I just want to add in, thank you, Maverick. I get that fully. And we do sometimes have men play women. And there is one gentleman, Roach, right over here, who's playing a woman in our Wednesday show. And we have had in the past other men play women roles here. It's totally open when we say, what roles do you want to play? You could write a woman role. So it's open game. If somebody wants to play a female role, that's great. But yes, there's often not that preference. And sometimes we had a male play Olivia in 12th Night various years ago.
Mistress Quickly.
Mistress Quickly, thank you.
Joey Mason.
Else?
So I can't speak for everybody, but I'm like the baby up here in terms of my experience doing Shakespeare. I'm barely getting started in it. So I played the old lady in the parallel play that Eddie right here wrote. Right? I thought it was interesting because kind of like what Nate is over here saying, like a lot of people didn't want to play the role. So I kind of embraced it, like, hey, I'm kind of interested to play an old lady. Like, what would that actually be like? And got out here and actually killed it. It was pretty funny. It was pretty funny. Had the scarf on, I had my medication, I was called. It was great. So I don't have no problem with it. Like, I'm comfortable in who I am as a person. So it's no big deal. I can't remember. You can't remember all the stuff. I can't remember. Came in instantly. I can't remember.
But as far as women though, so like for me, my whole challenge in acting is like to become better, right? So not to do the same role all the time. So in Wednesday's class, I went to go play the female part over there, right? But as Maverick kind of alluded to, they kind of wanted outside people, which is understandable, and other complications came about, so I just declined to go back. But like me personally, I'm speaking only for me, right? I know who I am, right? I'm comfortable with who I am. No one defines me but me, right? So no matter what I do, right? I don't answer to nobody up here. I don't answer to nobody in the yard. I answer to me and whatever my higher power is, right? So I'm confident and comfortable with whatever role I do, right? So maybe next time that might be my next role. Who knows?
It's a moment part.
I actually fought for him to play the role because the role he was going to actually do was it was going to there's a lady. Oh my God! All right. But no. So there's a person that works here, and it's comedy. He was going to actually imitate the person that works. He was going to be comedy, but it's cool. So I advocated for him, but he turned it down. So it's all good.
So one or two more questions, and then we're gonna complete. Yes. Do we have a mic?
Yeah, well, I don't need a mic. I just wanted to say thanks. My name is Josie.
Thank you, Josie.
Hi. And I just wanted to say that there was something that you all gave to this that I think actors who are just acting don't give. There was something that was, somebody said the word transform, and I felt transformed because I felt that you were doing it for your lives. It's very, very moving. Thank you so much.
One more question or comment, or is there anything our actors want to let the audience know about something that you are taking away from this show, this process of putting on this performance?
I'll share.
Anything that you want to
I'll share. So how, Soraya picks these characters for us. I didn't want to play Ken. I didn't want to do it. I actually wanted 2 other roles, and I got bust down, I think, right? At least that's how I took it. All right, bro. At least that's how I took it. But interesting enough, like the role I played as Kent, like that's kind of like who I am in real life. Like I'm actually like this person, like I'm loyal to a fault, even when, me and this other person, whoever I'm dealing with, might have a falling out. And it's like, I know that you really ain't in your right mind, so I'm gonna still back up play, even though you feel some type of way about me right now. So kind of like, what Maverick was saying about he was the only person, like it wasn't really just him, it was me and Cordelia. Like we wasn't having it. Like, bro, you tripping and you need to try to, figure this out. And we not just gonna go for whatever you talking about. Like we have something to say about how you getting down right now. Like this ain't cool. And we was the ones that got banished for it. And he kicked us out the kingdom. So in just in my own personal experience in dealing with this, like doing these plays, it kind of brings a piece of you out of your personality. I don't know how this always happens this way, because even in King Richard, a piece of me came out in that. I was like, Shakespeare was dope. Like, I didn't really realize like how Shakespeare was so cool. Like, so for him to have the vision and the foresight and really kind of prophesizing in his own kind of way, to be able to, write these roles and write these characters, and then when we play them in an environment like this, and a piece of us comes out, and then it's like, that's pretty amazing. So I think that's kind of like transformative in a way, in how we project ourselves with these characters, and it's a piece of us that's being given out there. Yep. So that's my thing.
My name is John Ray. I don't really speak, but I want to commend this crew right here and we're the crew for us coming together and through the struggles we went through. And we still, I don't talk to Mike, we still came through and made it happen, and we did it, man, and I salute y'all, man, and let's keep doing it, man.
Thank you.
Thank you, John, for always showing up in a supportive way.
Once again, hi, Gano's best friend. The servant part, it gave me a lot of respect for people that's in jobs of service, especially servants, because they put up with a lot of stuff. They have a lot of humanity, humility, they're disciplined through all the things that people talk to them crazy and things of that nature and belittle them and make them think that they're less of a person, but they still stand tall through it all. Perseverance is a really big thing, which I saw in the service role, and I'm just, man, it was just deep. Just be able to wake up to that instead of always looking down on people who had what we call less of jobs that we feel that we bigger than. But I salute anybody that ever been a servant before.
Thank you, Big J's. So, so I think it's time to close, but I want to just say a few things about how we're going to get out of here. Is there one more comment? Ladies, would you like to say anything?
I can say something. So I'm an intern here. I'm going to be here from February through October. And I'm doing this because I'm working to get my master's as a therapist. And my name is Hannah. And I gotta say, I've been acting since I was 7, and I've been in many shows, and the amount of passion and presence that these guys brought to every rehearsal and energy was almost exhausting, but it was so great. It was always so much fun. They came in, our first rehearsal, most of them are memorized. They were ready to go every time, always excited. Even today, people were running around, helping each other, pushing each other out if they needed to be. Ray came in and helped me in one scene. And so, they have a lot of passion, and this is probably one of the best shows I've gotten to do. So thank you guys for letting me be a part of it.
Thank you, Hannah.
Hi, my name is Candace. I'm a retired psychologist. I perform, but I've never been on the stage before. I just have to say that I've just learned so much from everyone in this group. I think that all of us are imprisoned in one way or another by our limitations. And I was so inspired by how the guys on the inside bear their imprisonment with so much life and juice and humor and humanity and love.
Thank you, Candace.
Hi everyone, I'm Jing. I'm from China, and this is the first time I'm on the stage and do the performance, and I'm speaking English. And one little thing, it's a Shakespeare word. I think I wanna thank for Saraya and I'm the cohort from with Hannah. I wanna thank for Saraya and thanks mostly thing I want to thanks for all of you. Because initially when I was here and I thought I couldn't do anything, I'm just, as I said, I never have done any performance, and I just think I probably would be very bad at acting. And then every person here, every guy here, they helped me very much. They taught me how to acting, they taught me how to speak, and even helped me how to understand the play. And I was so impressed how deep understanding they had. And it just, I feel like I got a lot of therapeutic moments with all of us. So thanks everyone.
Thank you, Jane. So I just want to just shout out and thank you to Stephen Pascasio, our wonderful tech guy in the back. Yes, Stephen White, our videographer. Thank you, David. And once again to our beautiful cast and crew. To Marianne, wonderful assistant director. Yes, you want to say
very quickly. So I also started as an intern volunteer when I was a student at CIS getting my master's in drama therapy, and I got hooked. And one of the women in my cohort, Lynn, also did it at the same time. Our first show here was Mary Wise in Windsor, and that was almost 4 years ago. And she's now working out of 3 prisons, is that correct? Solano, Folsom, 4? Oh, 4, okay. So she's really taken it and run. So I'm really proud of her, and that our program is able to work with Marin Shakespeare to have more students come through and have this influence. And also working from the other side, working with the men as a director or co-director with Soraya has been a wonderful experience. So thank you.
Thank you, Marianne.
One last question.
One last, great, yes.
I'm just curious about the qualifications, or like how you invite the inmates to go ahead and join, because I could see it being such a huge benefit for everybody to get a little piece of this.
Sure, yeah, so in terms of the qualifications, there are none. Woo-hoo. Just the desire to be a part of Shakespeare and theater, really. And if we have space in our group, we welcome all.
But do you have to sign up to do this? And
yes.
Are you guys required to do like 5 things, weekly or nothing? Like it's all volunteer basis? And because I have a circumstance where I know that, my kids would never volunteer sometimes if I didn't push them to do it. So this benefits you so much to be a therapeutic, sort of thing, and it could, as well as the rest of your inmates, and
Yeah,
friends.
I think it would be great if the CDCR required every inmate to do an arts program. Thank you all so much for